Hello and welcome to the Daily Meal for Monday, the 26th of February 2024. In today's Millwall news, we start off by showing you this. What is this? This is the EFL Team of the Week, as predicted in yesterday's video. It was almost certain that Tanganga would be in it, and Neil Harris has become the manager of the week as well. So there you go. This is the overall one that includes Championship, League One, and League Two, but also obviously in the Championship Team of the Week, Neil Harris and Tanganga, and that is from EFL.com. And not a surprise really, because it's based off the WhoScored.com ratings, which is the website that I use in the videos on Sunday. So there you go. Fantastic stuff. Now, moving on now to this. From the South London Press, londonnewsonline.co.uk. Alex Grace's takeaways from Mill's 2-1 win at Southampton. Next 3 league matches look vital for Lions' survival prospects. Mill defeated automatic promotion hopefuls Southampton 2-1 at St Mary's Stadium on Saturday. A huge shot in the arm to their championship survival prospects. Japhet Tanganga opened the scoring inside the first 5 minutes. His brave header from George Saville's free kick gave the Lions a perfect start on the south coast. Che Adams equalised midway through the first half after he headed Stuart Armstrong's cross past Matija Sarkic. Jan Benderik handled Michael Obafemi's shot right at the end of the first half. Zion Fleming stepped up and converted via the post in what turned out to be the game's final goal. Here are Alex Grace's 4 takeaways from a joyful trip to the south coast. Harris starts with a bang. It's been a tough start to 2024, just 1 win, and that came on New Year's Day. The Lions needed a boost and they got it. Neil Harris is Millwall through and through, and the emotion from the head coach from start to finish at Southampton was everything the fans needed to see. He was given a rousing ovation when he emerged from the tunnel and went straight over to 2,800 Millwall fans to get them going. The level of performance is a factor in how the fans react, regardless of the result on Saturday. What was important was that the fans saw a performance regardless of what people think about the appointment. Harris is the right man to galvanise the fan base, get them united and supporting the team. The scenes at full time demonstrated that. There was a clear element of togetherness in the team. The head coach pointed to the team and got the fans to direct their applause and adulation to them rather than him. Togetherness was a heavily featured word. In his post-match press conference, he shook hands with every player at the end of the game and said he believes all of them are together and willing to fight for the team. That performance proved it. Indeed. This is night and day. I've said this before. I want to clear something up. I've kind of been a bit harsh on all the Harris haters. I understand, like, obviously there are a few who are still on the we should have given Joe Edwards more time, like, and like, oh, let him like, oh, it will be fine because in League One he can then build a team. Like, what are you talking about? If we get relegated, Joe Edwards ain't gonna be here. He's gonna get a fucking sack. There's still some people talking about Joe Edwards still being here, which is just insane. Like, that deluded. So I was kind of talking about those people, but there are other people who think they agree, they understand. Like Joe Edwards, whatever he was trying to do, he didn't do it. Or for whatever reason, like the players couldn't get on board with it, or what the reason is, or he's just like he's not a leader. He probably can't lead. He's just a coach. Whatever the reasons are, it just didn't work for him. So there are some that probably agree that Edwards should go, but they don't agree that Neil Harris should have come back in. That this is a backward step. And what I will say to that is, listen, the right man at the right time. What Joe Edwards did to this team was absolutely gut any confidence and strip it bare like a vampire. He just sucked the confidence out of all the players. And we needed someone to come in and refill that. Now, if when Gary Rowett left, if after all of we were seeing all the things, we're talking rumours about this guy, that guy, like Nathan Jones, Michael Bill, Steve Bruce at one point, Neil Warnock, Kevin Muscat, who's a guy I wanted personally, but I don't think they could afford him. He went to China for the money, but yeah, if at that point Neil Harris would have come in then, I would have been a bit like what the fuck? I would have been like you guys, like what the fuck? What's this about? Um, I wasn't a Harris hater originally. I was a bit sad when he left because he kind of left because his family was getting abused, which is, and we were only 10 games into the season, and like results weren't perfect, but there was a long way to turn it around. But because his family was getting abused, he decided to step away from it. Um, but yeah, so if at that point Harris would have come back, I would have been like you guys, saying, "What the fuck is this? Like, this is a bit weird." But right now, after the situation that's happened with Joe Edwards, the wrong appointment, and we're literally staring relegation in the face, we need someone to come in and G everyone up, get the players going. Like, you see players who didn't even play under him are G'd up. Like, you see Sarkic at the end, you see all these players that weren't involved in Neil Harris, and that's great. But I can see a few clouds on the horizon, notably. Here's the thing, I don't know what's going on. So the way we're playing, Harris ball, 20% possession and things like that, but that was just against Southampton. I think we'll see how we play against Watford, but I don't think it's not going to be that every game. We are going to be attacking quite a bit at some point. Probably when's the easiest game we've got coming up? The Rotherham game. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. But a few clouds I'm seeing on the horizon is like the rebuilding of the team. Is Harris going to stay around for that? And I'm seeing some stories. You're seeing some stories online. I don't think I brought any of them. I brought one of them, the Margate kid. So the players we're being linked with now. There was an 18-year-old from Margate who was on loan with the under-21s on a trial. He came in for a trial. And some kid from Dartford. So that's who we're attracting now. Like before, when Harris was in charge, Alfie Pavey, Harry Smith, the kid, what was it? Peter Vincenti, the guy from Jersey? So it's like we're going from getting Creswell and Ballard on loan from Premier League teams to trying to sign kids from the non-league in the local area again. We're going backwards. And we're in the Championship now. We need some players who can play in the Championship. And that's the worrying thing on the horizon. Like after, it's like, what is it? The film The Graduate. Have you seen that film with Dustin Hoffman? This right now is a scene at the wedding where he's banging on the window and the girl's running away with him. But come the 5th of May, when the last game of the season is, we're going to be in the scene where they're on the bus and they're getting away, and they're like, okay, that was exciting, but like, what's the future going to be like now? Like that scene from The Graduate where they're sitting on the bus and their faces just kind of change. You're like, oh shit, that was fun, but now comes the reality of what we're doing. But as long as we're in the Championship, like who gives a fuck? We can just get someone else in, I guess. That's how it goes. Because as we saw last time, I would imagine you see how much affection and understanding Harris has for Millwall Football Club. If he starts next season and it's not working out, he will put his hands up and go, you know what, guys, it's not working out. I'm trying to rebuild the team. It's not really working. I'm about to head out. So there you go. Back to basics worked. We would all love to see perfect football. It's beautiful to watch Man City at their free-flowing best. It can be a joy to watch, but you have to have the players and budget for it. Right now, in the situation we were in, they needed to go back to basics, and that's what they did at St Mary's. It was not pretty to watch, but it was effective. Having watched Harris's football teams before, we know what we will see. It's going to be a bit of a throwback, but at a time when there are so many teams in the league wanting to play out from the back, it's a recipe that could work out very well. This was a performance of the old style Millwall. They came under the cosh, especially in the first half, but they stood up and were counted. Tanganga clearing an effort off the line sums up how much the result meant to them. You can have all the possession you want and make 5 times the passes of your opponents, but the only stat that counts is what team scores the most goals. Indeed. At the end of the video, or just before the end of the video, I'm going to be talking about possession. Because a lot of people were saying 20% possession we had, and we won the game. Is that some kind of like record? Nearly. I've had a little look, and I brought up some articles. Bizarrely, both of them from The Guardian, but there you go. A massive result in a relegation battle. Even the most die-hard Rotherham United fan would say it seems pretty unlikely that they will be playing Championship football next season, leaving 2 relegation spots to be filled. Sheffield Wednesday have picked up of late, having won 3 of their last 4 games to reduce the gap to safety to just 3 points, putting the pressure on all of the teams above them. It was a big weekend for the teams at the bottom. Wednesday, QPR, Mill and Huddersfield all won, which has dragged a few more teams back into the scrap. Stoke ended the weekend in the bottom 3, having 19th before the Saturday's matches started. 5 points separate Stephen Schumacher's Stoke in 22nd, with his old side Plymouth in 15th. This weekend has undoubtedly opened up the battle to more teams. Indeed, and it's kind of worrying that they keep winning. If they were to draw, they drop 2 points, but they keep winning. They just keep winning. Which means that if they do that, like I said, it's going to separate out the teams, and what's going to happen is the threshold for staying up is going to be higher. At the moment, believed to be around 48 points. 51 is the record that a team has ever been relegated in this league. It's going to be up there if they keep winning. It could be a record breaker, like 52 points and get relegated? Question mark. The next 3 games are crucial. Looking at the fixture list, you would pick the next 3 games as decent chances for Millwall to get some points on the board. Watford have been woeful form since they turned a year, and TalkSport reported over the weekend that they are set to part company with head coach Valerian Ismail. Should that happen, it will leave the Hornets searching for its 11th boss since 2020. Home games for Millwall are going to be crucial. They have 6 left. The form at the Den this season has been poor. Harris has always had a strong record at home. Fans will turn up in their numbers on Saturday to get behind their side. Then comes 2 games against the sides around them, starting with a trip to Blackburn, with John Eustace still waiting for his first win since taking the job. Victory there will drag Rovers right in it. Birmingham then visit the Den with Tony Mowbray having to step away temporarily. It gives the Lions a real chance of getting a result. 6 or 7 points from those 3 games would change the outlook massively. Yeah, well, of course. But we'll see. We'll start off with the Watford game, and we'll work on that first, and then we'll see how we go. Like I said, I think it's going to be a different game plan versus Watford than versus Southampton, so we'll see how that works. So there you go. Moving on to this, we've got some post-match comments from Harris, and then Ryan Leonard and Zion Fleming. A simple approach paid off for Millwall as players showed they care with gritty victory at Southampton. Neil Harris has talked about how much Zion Fleming's goal affected his half-time team talk and strategy for the second half in Mill's 2-1 win at Southampton. The Dutchman scored from the penalty spot in the 44th minute to restore the Lions' lead. What's with all these misplaced apostrophes? Lions' lead. Lions' lead, not Lions'. Lions'. Japhet Tanganga had headed Millwall in front after just 5 minutes at St Mary's Stadium before Che Adams levelled. The Lions put in an excellent defensive display to retain their advantage and make it a successful return for Harris, who was appointed head coach on Wednesday. Asked what Fleming's goal did in terms of his half-time plans, Harris said, "I changed it in the sense that if we'd have gone at 1-1, and then we might have had a little bit more aggressive in our approach without the ball, just pressed a little bit higher at times. But it's so hard to do that because I've had such a limited time with the players. Sometimes you have to go with what works, what's simple. We wanted to get after their goalkeeper when he had the ball, press higher up the pitch, but we had a way to set up against them. They changed the way they built and they made it tougher for us. You try and change it at half time, and if you get it wrong, and then you get opened up. And we went with a mid block and a low block because it worked for the players. The players wanted to do it and they believed in it. It gave us that hope and belief, something to protect. We felt going in at half time that as much as they've had the ball and shifted it from side to side, they hadn't created lots of chances. If anything, I was disappointed with the goal we conceded, a cross in the box from my team, we tried to limit things like that. We didn't have to adjust too much at half time, just protect our fullbacks a bit more. If that meant dropping into back five, then so be it. Harris was all smiles after his winning return to the Millwall hot seat. Asked what he had learned about his players in his first match back at the helm, club's all-time record goal scorer said, that they've got character, spirit and a desire to play for this football club. They're in it together, and when they need to, they can grind it and dig it out. The biggest thing is that they care. So there you go, Neil Harris, Mill manager. Moving on to this. So Mill boss asked about half-time change at Southampton that saw striker switch made. So Neil Harris has explained why he took Michael Obafemi off at half-time in Mill's 2-1 win at Southampton. The Burnley striker who signed on loan for the Lions in the winter transfer window started at St Mary's Stadium. It was his shot that was ruled to have been handled, Zion Fleming converting from the penalty spot. But Obafemi was replaced by Tom Bradshaw at the start of the second half. Season half? Second half. Asked about that decision, Mill head coach Harris said, just freshness. Michael was excellent first half. He's not played a lot of football. He's been ill last week. I just thought he was a little bit reactive at times. There's more sharpness to come from him. He'd have loved to gone for another 5 or 10 minutes to get in his legs. It was a really tight call between the two of them about who started. We were leading 2-1 at half time, and Michael had done his job for the team to get us in front. I wouldn't have pushed him past 55 minutes because it would have been too risky. I just felt I'd go with a little bit more experience than Tom. I thought we were going to spend so much time without the ball. And Tom Bradshaw, over the years, he's been one of the best defensive centre forwards in the division. And you can play up to him as well, so there's that. So that's Neil Harris, post-match. And we have Ryan Leonard. He's the one on the right. I know it's hard to tell them apart. Ryan Leonard on win over Southampton. Neil Harris being Mr. Millwall and backing up display against Watford next time out. So Ryan Leonard held the man management skills of Neil Harris after Mill's head coach made a winning return. The Lions won 2-1 at Southampton to spring a championship upset. It also ensured that Harris, back for his second permanent spell as boss after replacing Joe Edwards on Wednesday, collected maximum points in his first game back at the helm. Leonard is one of a number in the Millwall squad that played for the 46-year-old in his first spell, when he led the South Londoners promotion from League One and then cemented their place in the championship. He's an incredible man manager, said Leonard. He gets the best out of his players, whether on the football or off the football pitch. He really brings the club together on and off the pitch. We had 3,000 fans singing his name at the end of the game. He just comes in and he's Millwall. He is Millwall Football Club. It was a great result for him and for the lads. It's been a tough period. It's been a strange week and difficult. The manager leaving and a new manager coming in. Any player would say it isn't an enjoyable week when that happens. It was a performance that showed real togetherness as a team. It shows what we have as a club and a team, not just the 11 that played, the players that got on, but also the ones that didn't get on. We came in this week and we knew we had to put it right as players. We owed it to ourselves. We needed to create a performance that showed togetherness and showed spirit. We got that from the first whistle. Going 1-0 up early doors was big for us. Conceding the goal, which we could do better with, we got the penalty. Second half, it showed we were a bit defensive unit. There were probably a few times on the counter we could do better. A lot of praise goes to Matty, the keeper, at the end, making that save. He did. That was huge. He deserves all the credit in the world for what he did there. It shows us as a keeper that he's an excellent keeper. He made a great save which won us the game. Mill had to keep their defensive shape against the Saints side who dominated the ball. Asked how much it fatigues to block up space over the course of a match, Leonard said, mentally it's very hard work. You're having to talk to players and pass people on, moving into different areas. For the midfield 4 and the 2 up top, it's probably a little harder than for us defenders. We have to defend well and talk to those in front of us, especially the wide players, whether that be George, Longy, Brooke, came on. These boys did an unbelievable job for us, along with the ones up top, Z, Bradders, and Mike. In the first half, did an amazing job for us. You could pick out so many individual players, but as a team today, we showed we were good players. We can defend well and move the ball well. At times, we can probably do a little better on the ball, but we showed real spirit. So interesting there, that last line. I'm clear it's probably not what he's meaning, but we showed we are good players. Is that a little dig at the previous manager who said a few things about the managers, about the players? We showed we are good players. We are good boys. We're not shit. I'm clearly. I don't think he meant it like that, but It's just subconsciously, saying that. It's like, well, who was saying you weren't good players? There's only one guy, probably some of the fans, and the previous manager. This is from suffolknews.co.uk. This might be a repeat. No, it's not a repeat. So, Fleming penalty came at just the right time before Harris's interval chat. Manager Neil Harris says the timing of Mill's second goal did lead into Ortiz's half-time team talk at St Mary's. The two sides look set to go in on level terms at the break after Tanganga's brave 5th-minute header was cancelled out by Chadam's 34th minute leveller. But then Jan Benarix was adjudged to have handled Michael Obafemi's 44th minute effort in the box, handing Zion Fleming the perfect opportunity to restore the Lions' advantage from the spot. The Dutchman made no mistake from 12 yards, coolly sending Saints keeper Gavin Bazunu the wrong way with the penalty, leaving Harris to admit he didn't have to rethink his message at the midway point. He said, I changed in the sense that I thought if we'd gone in 1-1, we might have had to be a little bit more aggressive in our approach without the ball. We just maybe pressed a little bit higher at times, but it's just so hard to do that because there's so little time with the players. Sometimes you've got to just go with what works, and we know what is simple. We worked to get after the goalkeeper when he had the ball, press higher up the pitch, but we had a way to set up against them. They changed the way they built, and they made it tougher for us. Then you try and change it at half time, you get it wrong. I know, this is a repeat. Yeah, that's a repeat of basically what I just read from. Like I said, I don't read all of these before I bring them up. I just skim the headlines and think, oh, this will be interesting to bring everyone. So now, as promised, we go into 20% possession and winning the game. Is that a record? Well, this is from theguardian.com. It's an article that's more than 6 months old. So some of the data may be out of date. A deep dive into low possession smash and grab thrashings in football. And then there's some other stuff. So, where's this from? This is from August 2023, 16th of August. In their opening game of the League 2 season, Sutton beat Notts County 5-1 despite having only 30% of the possession, tweeted someone on Twitter. That works out as only 6% of possession for each goal scored. Has any team ever recorded a lower percentage in a professional match, naturally excluding weird games that ended weirdly? So as this question is really about smash and grab thrashings, we've imposed an entirely arbitrary restriction. Teams that must have had less than 40% possession to qualify, and that rules out spectacular mismatches such as England 20, Latvia 0 during qualification for this Women's World Cup. Well, you should rule it out because it's a women's game, and women's game and men's game is totally different. So how can you compare stats from one to the other? That you should rule out of that on the own, you fucking mong. Who wrote this? Doesn't say. Someone calling themselves the Knowledge. It's also worth noting that possession stats vary from source to source. For example, many data peddlers gave Sutton 34% of possession. We had it at 31%, and Flash Score reckoned it was 30%. For the sake of consistency, we'll use Flash Score percentages where possible. So let's start with a recent demonstration of a modern phenomenon: the sporadic but spectacular malfunction of tiki-taka. Yes, we've seen this quite a bit. Teams who do the tiki-taka get absolutely fucked. Oh, this is the women's football. Why they're talking about Women's World Cup again? No, that's not the same. Most of the answers to this question are recent for two reasons. Possession stats were not recorded until around 2003, and the highest level football is more possession based than ever. This can lead to matches that are one-sided in both possession and goals, but not always for the same team. Every Evertonian will have fond memories of an ultimately vital heist at the Amex Stadium in May. So that's May 2023. Brighton won Everton 5, arguably the result of the entire Premier League season. Everton only had 22% possession, but ran right on the counter-attack. 22% possession, 5 goals. That's a possession per game of 4.4. It's not quite a record. Matt Bowman can go one better, or rather 0.1 better. When Aston Villa beat Liverpool 7-2 in the weird crowdless COVID season, they had 30% possession. So they're talking about So it said possession, and they're saying possession per goal. But so I think we're going to go with the Everton game there. So that's all we can get from the league games. But we got this from Champions League games. This is a story all the way from 2012. So this is way out of date because that is 12 years ago now. Doesn't time fly? 2012, that was the London Olympics, wasn't it? That's 12 years ago. So you can see here the lowest possession, 16.36, when Celtic beat Barcelona in the Champions League. And bizarrely, or not bizarrely really, because Chelsea beat Barcelona with 20.92% possession, and Ruben Kazan beat Barcelona with 24.93% possession. So you can see Barcelona on this list quite a lot, because obviously that was, I think Pep was there at the time, so he's doing the old tiki-taka, and they're having all this possession, and they don't score and they don't win the game. The other teams do. So the lowest one I could find was 16% from Celtic when they beat Barcelona. So our 20% is up there with the lowest possession for a team that won a game. It might not be a record, but it's pretty bizarre. It's not normal. It is unusual, to paraphrase Tom Jones. I'm going to finish the video by talking about the youth, the ones on loan, and the game tomorrow. This is the Loanwatch from millfc.co.uk. All of Mill's 4 loanees were in action for their temporary clubs last weekend. Well, that's nice. For Bromley and Kamal Grant, a rare defeat was suffered as the Ravens were beaten 2-0 by Eastleigh on the south coast. Yeah, I just noticed that on the day. They were on the south coast at the same time we were, but they kicked off early for some reason. I don't know if that's so people go to the Southampton game after that game. I don't know. But that was a weird one. Like Bromley and Millwall were in that area at the same time. I think Eastleigh is quite close to Southampton, isn't it? A result which saw Barnet leapfrog Kentside in second place in the Van Armour National League. Grant played 74 minutes before being substituted at the Silver Lake Stadium. There was a win for Alex Mitchell, however. The defender played 90 minutes and kept a clean sheet in Lincoln City's 2-0 Skybet League 1 victory over Port Vale at Vale Park. The Himps, who won 4 of their last 5 games, now sit in 10th position in the third tier, 9 points off top 6. Elsewhere, there were draws for Dylan Adai and Erif Belvedere, 1-1 at home to Erne Bay. And Nino Adam Malaki's Sutton United remain rooted to the foot of Skybet League 2 table following the same scoreline at home to Colchester United. So there you go. And we've got games coming up. Some midweek games and Saturday games. There you have it. And now there's a game tomorrow with the under-21s. The under-21s take on Ipswich Town in the Professional Development League at the Den, Tuesday afternoon, 2 p.m. So yeah, it costs £5 to get in, £1 if you're under 16, and it's free if you're under 16 season ticket holder. So junior Lions get in for free, but why are you not at school? Exactly. But maybe you're homeschooled, and this is your what field trip? Your homeschool field trip. Or maybe they close down your primary school because there's not enough people in it. That's what they're doing in Southwark these days, isn't it? Primary schools getting closed down or merged. All very weird. They're building flats like the Clappers, flats and flats and flats and flats everywhere. But there are no children to go to the primary schools. So who's living in these fucking flats then? Very bizarre goings on in the London Borough of Southwark. So yeah, that's happening tomorrow at the Den. And on that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.